Hi VAC, my name is Lindsay, and while most of you probably recognize me from singing on stage and leading you in worship, some of you might not have one clue who I am, and that's okay. Speaking in public is definitely not my thing, but I know God pushes us out of our comfort zones in order to reach others. So instead of singing, I'm going to chat a little bit about this last year and what God has brought me through. As some of you know, I'm a full-time nurse at the hospital and I work on the surgical floor. I previously worked on psychiatry and women's and children's. It has been one of the hardest years for me in many, many ways. I ended up getting COVID, not once, but twice. Partially tore my MCL meniscus when hiking the West Coast Trail in July and was off work for 5 weeks, spending more time wearing a mask than breathing the fresh air this year. Watching people suffer and die way more than I ever thought I would imagine to have to see. Been so short-staffed that you barely have time to remember names and hand out pills and to keep people alive. The pressure is unreal. But not being able to be a social butterfly and having to learn how to live alone has been hard. And well, the list goes on. If I'm being honest, it's been a very dark year. Many nights wondering, why in the world am I a nurse? Maybe I should quit, go do something different. Maybe I could go get a pretty good wage at McDonald's. I hear they got some pretty good benefits. And it sounds way less stressful than what I'm doing now. So why does it seem like everyone else gets to forget about COVID and move on with their lives? And yet for me, it feels like I'm still fighting, seeing how it is so real and having to talk about it daily and have it consume my life every day. Through all of the struggles, burnout, frustrations, and a lot of anger, God has constantly brought small moments of light into my darkness to keep me going. Not constant light, but just enough to remind me that His plans are the best. He is in control, and He will truly care for me. So what's the light, you ask? Well, I was forced on my quarantine to truly rest, taking a lot of naps, completing a lot of puzzles, spent a lot of time with Jesus, and for the second quarantine, actually getting to spend a lot of special time with my parents. Yes, we all had COVID together, which turned out to be a big blessing in disguise. When my dad got sent into hospital, I was able to support my mom and keep her company and distracted while we were waiting for updates. I got to witness and see the incredible community that I have around me. The countless amount of surprise care packages, treats, texts, phone calls that I've received this year have been so amazing. Everyone supporting me through these tough times and acknowledging that they just see me and that they are praying for me. It meant so much. I have never felt so loved and supported. I've continued to be filled with moments at my work that remind me why I became a nurse, why I love taking care of others and at their lowest points when they're the most vulnerable. The biggest impactful moment lately for me was when we had a patient about a month ago code on our floor, not breathing, limp, and blue. I ended up doing 2 to 3 minutes of CPR on her chest, and I broke 6 of her ribs in the process. She ended up going to ICU for about 2 weeks, and we never heard back. A couple weeks later, I get on my night shift and I recognize her name on my report sheet. She had been transferred back to our floor and apparently doing much better. When I went in to do her night assessment, she was reporting some rib pain, and I actually got the chance to tell her, unfortunately, that was me breaking your ribs during CPR. She began to weep uncontrollably and continuously thanking me for saving her life. It was a moment that touched me and one of the best moments in my career to this day. And when I walked out of her room, God whispered to my spirit, "This is why I made you a nurse." He has given me songs throughout the years that touched me and that I could send to others so that I could touch them. So many little moments like this that have brought light to my darkest year. But I want to encourage anyone who is listening that God never gives more than we can handle. Even when it seems so dark and the impending doom is looming over, and you're constantly asking God, why me? Where are you? He is there. He will provide a way, and He loves you. He has a purpose for you. lean into that, and He will provide the light that will get you through.